Assalamu alaikum. Unspoken Word Series. Corruption. Part 3. The Descendants. 5 years after the death of Habil, Adam and Hawa had a third son named Sheth, also known as Seth. It is said that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, is a descendant from Sheth. It is also said that Allah revealed 50 scriptures to him. Prior to his death, Prophet Adam, peace and blessing be upon him, appointed Sheth as his successor. After Adam's death, Sheth continued to practice Islam and led his people on the straight path. But like many humans today, some went astray. Qabil became jealous of Sheth and he took his family and left the mountain and went to the valley. Allah ordered Sheth's people to stay away from Qabil's people because they are being led astray. Although they both are Muslims and they both practice Islam, Qabil's people disobeyed Allah. During the time of Prophet Sheth, Shaitan came in human form to deceive the people. You see, he continues his promise to corrupt mankind. He went to Qabil's people first because they were already amongst the losers. He came to them in search of a job and they offered him one. While working there, he started to make noises with his mouth. Qabil's people became intrigued. He went from making noises with his mouth to banging on things. Next thing you know, we have instruments and the era of music was created. You see, Shaitan already knew that some forms of music was considered haram in Islam because it can be a misguidance. The words used in music can cause us to question Allah's word, and also some musical sounds are nothing but demonic chants we are not aware of. Shaitan convinced Qabil's people nothing was wrong. They began singing and dancing to this new sound, and soon the era of adultery began. You see, when Qabil took his people to the valley, he took all the beautiful women and had the ugly men. Sheth had the handsome men and ugly women. So you see, Allah gave them the opposite in order to appreciate what they had. Qabil's people started focusing on music and haram things. They slowly fell off their deen. Shaitan conquered Qabil's people, but hey, that task was already easy because they were already headed on the path of misguidance. Now it was time for Shaitan to attack Sheth's people. Shaitan warned Allah that he will also corrupt Sheth's people, and Allah replied to him, letting him know that if they follow you, they will be amongst the losers in the hellfire. Shaitan began his whispers in the hearts of Sheth's people. Sheth's people some began to question Allah's word. But Sheth did his best to keep his people on the straight path. O ye who believe, enter into Islam wholeheartedly, and follow not the footsteps of the evil one, for he is to you an avowed enemy. Al-Baqarah 208. Shaitan used his evil whispers to try and corrupt each descendant of Adam as he promised. Do we see the pattern yet? Has the picture not been painted clear? Allah tells us about the life of this life in Al-Baqarah 2:12. The life of this world is alluring to those who reject faith, and they scoff at those who believe. But the righteous will be above them on the day of resurrection. For Allah bestows his abundance without measure on whom he will. Allah is telling us not to be fooled by the beauty of this world because this world is only temporary. You see, we are in a long tryout for the Jannah. How many of us are going to make the cut? I'm sure many of us will say we are, but how many of us actually know you are? If your heart trembles when you say you're going to the Jannah, then my sister or brother, you have work to do. The good news is Allah is always with you. You see, our minds try and block out what our hearts already know. That is why he tells us he looks to the heart of man and not to his wealth or status. This is just one of the tests he mentioned. Al-Baqarah 2:14 says, or do you think that ye shall enter the garden of bliss without such trials as came to those who passed away before you? They encountered suffering and adversity, and were so shaken in spirit that even the messenger and those of faith who were with him cried. When will the help of Allah? When will come the help of Allah? Ah, verily the help of Allah is always near. It seems Shaitan has been working little by little on mankind. Let's do a brief timeline. The Prophet Adam, the first disobedience. Qubil, the first murder. The Prophet Sheth, the introduction of the era of music and adultery. Prophet Idris, injustice and enmity. The Prophet Noah, also known as Noah, idolism was introduced. Further, we sent a long line of prophets for your instruction. We sent Noah to his people. He said, O my people, worship Allah. Ye have no other God but him. Will ye not fear him? Chapter 23, verse 23 in the Quran. According to the times of the Prophet Adam, up until the Prophet Noah, Shaitan had done everything he can do to mislead the people of Allah. Like the world we live in today, he succeeded with some, but there are still many followers of Allah. Shaitan tricked those people into thinking that they were doing a good thing by making statues of leaders who passed as a sign of appreciation for leadership. The people were completely unaware of the deception he had done. By the time Noah warned them, the people were already brainwashed into thinking that what they were doing was not idol worshiping, but showing appreciation. Even now today, people are still worshiping idols, creating dolls, and using them for rituals as well as prayer. There were many prophets after Noah, and still Shaitan never stops. During the times of the prophets Ibrahim, also known as Abraham, Ishmael, also known as Ishmael, and Lut, also known as Lot, peace and blessing be upon them, Shaitan had introduced same-sex relations and so much more. In the world we live in today, people are exploiting their sexuality. People continue to openly disrespect the laws of Allah. It seems that Shaitan's goal is to take each law or law ordained and convince mankind in some way it is not a sin against Allah if you do it. He has taken the laws meant to protect us from this dunya and made them look cool to break. You see, because we only use the naked eye, we are not able to see past the desire we feel. We are not able to see the bigger outcome because we have lost our way. It is like the saying goes, you give them an inch, they take a mile. The same is to be said for mankind when it comes to Allah. He gave us the tools, re-ups, extra lives, and all the bonuses you need to make it to level 1. But we are fueled by greed. Instead of seeing the reality, we see the temporary illusion Shaitan provides.